All right, so Tyrese Gibson, actor slash former R&B star, is suing Home Depot for $1 million for racial profiling. We're going to watch a video. It's about 16 minutes long, but just take a look and tell me what you think. We're going to analyze it, see if Tyrese is in the right or if he's in the wrong. Check it out.
What's going on, world? It's Xiaomi Sensei ripping them back again with another video. Today we got Tyrese getting into a heated exchange with the cashier that works at Home Depot. That's right, y'all. This morning, Tyrese uploaded a video of him and his workers going back to Home Depot after they were denied, services for failing to provide proper documentation. You know how stores are. You use certain credit cards, you have to provide proper identification. And at the time, Tyrese had sent his workers, and he tried to reason it out over the phone, but it seemed like things was getting out of hand. So Tyrese himself had to come to the store. I'll let you see what happened afterwards. Y'all let me know, do you think Tyrese handled the situation accordingly, or was he out of pocket for not having proper identification? Let me know down below, but let's get right to it.
Can you please include that information?
Okay, so that's the employee, the cashier who denied Tyrese's, the guys that work for him. She denied the transaction because they didn't have proper identification for the card. So one of the workers had FaceTime Tyrese to talk to the girl over the phone, thinking that would be okay. But here we go.
I was just there. I just walked. I was just in your store, ma'am. If you're going to talk to your manager, tell your manager the truth. I was just in the store and I gave my guys my credit card in front of your staff and team member and I walked off. Don't say that I'm not there with no ID. You can pull up the cameras. I was there 5 minutes ago. This is completely unnecessary.
Okay, now I'm going to stop it because I don't know copyright issues. This is somebody else's video. But that is not proper identification. He thinks because he can... I was at the store. You saw me in there. You saw me hand my credit card to my guys. I was just in the store. Pull up the cameras. That is not a proper form of identification.
What you're doing right now. I'm not answering what?
See? Do you have a pro account?
Ma'am, should I have the CEO of Home Depot to call you tomorrow? Because he's my neighbor. He's my neighbor in Atlanta. You want me to get the CEO of Home Depot to call you and tell you that this is unnecessary, what you're doing?
Yep, my manager said that's fine.
See, Tyrese is trying to use his celebrity status to resolve the issue. Instead of just using an ID to pay for the merchandise, I'm going to call the CEO because he's my neighbor. He's going to call and take care of you guys. That complete, total BS entitlement.
Okay, tell your manager I was just in the store. Do you want to tell him that part?
He can hear you.
Okay, manager, what is his name?
Carlos?
Carlos. What's his last name?
That's not necessary.
What? You work in Home Depot. You work in a public place. You're asking me for my first and last name. I'm giving it to you. Tyrese Gibson, and those guys are my designers and builders, and I was just in your store 5 minutes ago. And you're on the phone with me asking for ID, and you're talking to the ID. I was just in your store.
See, that is not a form of proper identification.
This is, I understand policy, but you know you're being extra right now.
Physical ID.
Excuse me?
Credit card.
This is Tyrese Gibson. I was just in your store.
Store policy.
Okay, what is his last name? Store policy.
I'm not.
Okay, what is your name? What is your name?
My name's Lely.
Aurelie?
Yep, Curly.
And what's your last name?
I'm not giving you my last name.
I've never heard that before.
Okay. I like your bangs. You have a good night.
So now he's being smart.
You as well.
All right, Karen.
I'll go back.
Okay, Karen. Take care.
I think you be sure wherever I'm in the car.
There's no need to call her Karen for doing her job.
Thanks, Karen. What time do they close, Manuel?
What time? Excuse me. What time you close the store? What time you close the store? 10 o'clock.
I'll be on my way. Is that everything you're getting right there? 3,000?
So it sounds like the purchase is $3,000 from what it sounds like, $3,017.
Go ahead. You got it. Alrighty.
How hard was that?
So you're a supervisor, right? What's your name? Corelli? And your last name is what? Why not? Because you work here. And I have a problem with your energy and your unprofessionalism. So what's your last name?
Now, if you can't hear what he said he has a problem with your energy and your professionalism or something like that.
Okay. So, ma'am, how long?
Don't consent to being recorded.
What is? How long have you been working here, ma'am? You? I just have a question. How long? 1 year. Okay. Gotcha. So, my problem with what just happened is that I've been living 3 blocks in here for 10 years. And if this is a policy without a pro account, why are you the first person to stop my team and my builder from coming here when I've been coming to this particular Home Depot for 10 years? Make me understand that. If this is a policy and you're the boss and you run this place, why are you the only one doing or living up to the company policy?
See, there's a problem with what he said. I've been coming here for this Home Depot for 10 years. I live 3 blocks away. Why are you the only person who's asked me for ID? Well, for one, she's doing her job. Maybe she's the only person in that store who actually follows the rules to a T. And there's nothing wrong with that. I know it can be annoying sometimes, but there's nothing wrong with employees following the rules to a T. So I think Tyrese got so used to coming in that store or having his guys come in. Oh, that's Tyrese. He's a celebrity. We know who he is. We can go ahead and trust him. His guys come in all the time, and they kind of bypass the policy because, oh, yeah, it's Tyrese. Anyway.
Explain that to me.
I can explain other people's actions.
You can, because they reflect you. If you're the boss and you're the manager and you say it's company policy to show ID before you swipe a credit card, unless you have a pro account, I'm asking you and your staff and your team, these people all work for you. And you're the supervisor, you're the manager, anything that anybody do as far as their role that may not have the same particular seniority that you have, make me understand, after 10 years of coming to this place with the same guys, swiping for way bigger amounts. And this is like the smallest transaction they've done. Make me understand in 10 years why no one has ever asked for ID. You don't know? And you work here. And you're the supervisor. You're the cashier supervisor. Which means that when everybody do all the shopping, they got to come see you before they swipe their card, along with the rest of your team that are cashiers, right? Because if it's a policy, then everybody should be living up to the policy, right? So
He's right about that. Everybody should live up to the policy. So he's not wrong about that. And I see what he's saying with that. Everybody should be following the company rules. But I don't, like I said, I think his celebrity status may have got him a pass with that. You know, because he's been there for a long time. He's Tyrese. Yeah, let him go.
Make me understand after 10 years why this just happened for the first time without a pro account. I've not been to the store. And make me understand how you just seen me and other people that work here just seen me physically in the store. And I was just here. Sir, did you just see me in the store? So how did you barely look at me if I bought 2 candy bars from you and we gave you the scanning machine? You looked at me and we just did the whole transaction and I walked out. Are you telling me you've never seen me until right now?
No, I'm not saying that. I just didn't recognize you.
I'm not talking about recognizing me as a celebrity. You did see me, correct? I just want you to confirm that I was just in the store 5 minutes ago.
Because I only said you were there, yeah. I mean,
Okay.
I didn't know if it was you that was there. I barely looked at your face.
Okay.
I was bringing all this stuff up, and they were handing you different things, so then you were like, okay, anymore. So I just did real quick so I could get back to the other. So that's why I didn't get a good look at it.
It's hard to make out what the other guy is saying. I'm having a tough time on my end as well, but you know, what happened was Tyrese gave him 2 candy bars to add to the transaction. So the other guys are paying. Tyrese walks up with 2 candy bars and says, "Hey, scan these and add these to the transaction, and they're going to pay for it." And he walked off. That's what happened here.
Regardless, he's still a staff, right?
Okay, so I just called you on FaceTime.
That's not valid form of ID.
No?
No.
I just called you on FaceTime is what he says. And she says, that's not valid form of ID. And she's correct.
A passport or
10
state
years.
ID.
10 years coming. No pro account. I'm just trying to understand how you're the first person to say, here's the company policy and this is what we're not doing. I'm trying to understand. And you represent the supervisor cashier. Make me understand how all of these cashiers for the last 10 years have been swiping my credit card without me physically being here with no ID, with no pro account. That's the policy. Make me understand. Because them not doing that is not living up to the policy that you're supposed to put in place and keep in place. I'm going to tell you what this feels like. This feels like racism.
There we go. He just pulled the race card.
And I don't pull the race card.
Oh, he doesn't. Tyrese Gibson, racist white radio stations won't play my song. This is from 2015. He had the number 3 album on the Billboard 200 charts. And he says white radio stations aren't playing the hit single from his album, Shame. But he doesn't pull the race card. And I believe he did another time in a court case, but we'll get to that later.
This feels like racism, and you're not professional enough to apologize or give us better energy, even though I didn't physically came back. Your staff and employee that works with you and for you as another cashier, he just seen me. I bought 2 candy bars. He looked me in my face. He swiped it, and I walked right out the store. Is that the policy too? Where he's going to use a scanner and pay for 2 candy bars, and let me walk out the store?
You were with them.
Exactly right. Which means I never showed you my ID, and I never swiped my credit card, and I walked out with 2 candy bars. that also a policy?
But I saw them nod, like, oh yeah.
They nodded.
Yeah.
And I also just called her on the phone and I showed her my face, told her I was just in the store, and I nodded as well. So why did you let me walk out the store with 2 candy bars without ID and without swiping my card?
Because that was part of the whole total. I couldn't swipe it for just 2 things when you were adding it to the
That was the whole total, but you don't even know if my credit card would actually go through. You let me walk out the store without seeing my ID or letting my credit card swipe. Is that company policy? I'm just trying to understand what I don't
I'm
understand.
not sure if that relates to what.
Don't worry about who I am. I really thank you. They're disrespecting me and my team on purpose. And I'm hamming.
I'm not handing you any different than I have everybody.
I'm asking you, company policy-wise, because I don't work here. And I didn't make up any of the rules. Do you let people come to Home Depot as a cashier and you scan candy bars or drinks or anything and you let them walk out the store without paying? That's what I'm
If
asking
it was
you.
one person alone, no, I wouldn't let them do that.
Okay. I'm good, man. I'm just trying to understand why I'm feeling what I'm feeling.
What happened? I mean, about were you with a customer calling over the phone about the
Yes,
transaction?
that was me.
Yeah. So, unfortunately, and I get your point. I mean, your frustration, and I do apologize about that. But she was just following protocols. I
Okay,
mean,
I'm asking about the protocol because I don't work here.
got it.
So educate me about the protocol. I walked up to this gentleman. I grabbed 2 candy bars.
Got it.
He scanned it.
Yes.
And I said, hey man, they're going to finish the rest of the transaction. They got my credit card and I left.
Okay.
I did not pay for my 2 candy bars.
But you left the credit card to that person?
With them. I was just here with them and this man just seen me. He scanned, hold on, let me finish. He scanned my 2 candy bars. I looked him in his face. They were finishing up the transaction, and I walked out of your store with 2 candy bars, no ID, and I didn't swipe my card to pay for it. And he let me leave. So then, as I left, sir, they're now here to finish the transaction because, irregardless of who I am, I don't like getting attention. And I just started seeing people looking, and I was like, let me go ahead and work my way out. They've been coming here and working with me. They work with me. I don't treat anybody less than. I treat everybody with respect. They've been working with me for 10 years. I have not been in this store in probably 6 years. So I'm asking the supervisor, who won't give me her last name, what is the store's policy that you have?
See, he just said, I haven't been in the store in about 6 years. So the first time you come in there in 6 years and, I don't know, and then you say, hey, they're going to pay for my stuff. And they're going to pay the $3,000 transaction. And you walk out the door, and you're upset because the girl asked for ID. Now, if there was some kind of, if it really was identity theft or something like that, and the girl did not ask for ID, it would have come back to her, and she would have lost her job. Let's say if it was a $3,000 transaction, like, yeah, $3,000, whatever it is, a transaction that big, and somebody doesn't check for ID, and it's fraud, and it comes, and Tyrese's card is taken, whatever, and by somebody else, and he would have come back and said, why didn't she check for ID? Why didn't he would have been suing for not following protocol?
Have in place that you're supposed to implement where I'm able to scan 2 candy bars and walk outside without my
He seems very condescending as well.
ID and without paying for it. And he let me leave. And I'm calling you on FaceTime to say if you have an ID problem and I don't have a pro account, you're looking at me on FaceTime and I'm telling you it's me. And then you're saying the policy is I got to come in here and show my ID. So why did your coworker let me leave with 2 candy bars with no ID and I didn't swipe the credit card? If that's your policy, that's what I'm asking. If that's your policy, I'm asking you. I don't work here. I'm asking you, what is your policy? This is a reflection of you. Because you're the cashier supervisor, and then you called your boss to get to the bottom of what's happening. So I'm asking you, as the boss of the cashiers, why did somebody on your team and staff look at me, grab the scanner out of my hand? It was over here. We gave it to him. He was like, hey, man, here. He reached over the wood and the doors and went bloop, bloop, bloop. And I said, hey, man, they going to take care of the transaction. They got it. I'm out. You're being a racist. And that's the truth. I don't have a racist bone in my body. And you know you got that racist energy all over you because you're not even willing to apologize, fix it, and point out the inconsistencies of what you know and your training and what.
He said, you're being a racist. You have that racist energy all over you. It's because she was following protocol. Look, in my opinion, the girl does not know who the heck this guy is. She's probably never seen him before, never heard of him, and is not going to take his word for it. And he's probably very upset about that somebody did not recognize him.
What the policies are. You're wrong. You're wrong, and I want your full name, and I'm going to reach out to the people who own this place, the CEO of Home Depot is my neighbor in Atlanta. Okay? So you don't have to give me your name. I'll figure it out. This is wrong. And people should not be treated this way. And if you got a policy and you reflect the policy of this place, then the policy should be consistent with everybody that works here. Okay? You don't care, right? Because you don't. He cares. That's why he came out. You're wrong. And I came here to tell you you're wrong, and you're not even willing to apologize. Your co-star and co-worker seen me, identified me, without ID. He was like, all right, cool. I said, yo, man, they gonna take care of everything. I gave him my credit card, and I walked out. Is that the policy?
All right, so that's that. I think this is BS. I think it's more than just him. There's something else to it because Tyrese has had some financial issues in the past. Well known. At least maybe some of you know it. This was as early as, this article's from April 2023. April 25th of this year. Tyrese has to fork over $636,000 for child support and lawyer bills. It says, despite the astronomical numbers that came out of today's hearing, Tyrese's attorney, Tanya Mitchell-Graham, isn't too down about it. She tells TMZ they will file an appeal as soon as the judge's order is entered. Let's get to the numbers. As for the money, Tyrese doesn't have to pay it all at once. The judge has set May 15th as a due date for about $258,000. Now, he owes $10,000 a month in child support, is what he's supposed to be paying. Instead, he's been paying $2,200 a month. The $237,000 represents the monthly difference he owes plus interest. Okay. The judge Tyrese publicly called out before his child custody hearing is ordering him to fork over nearly $250,000 to his ex-wife and almost $400,000 to her attorney. The actor-singer was in Fulton County Court Tuesday in Atlanta, that's where Atlanta is, to deal with the ongoing child support battle with Samantha Lee Gibson. The main issue is being Tyrese refusing to pay $10,000 a month he was ordered to pay last August because he felt the judge was racist and biased against him. There we go. Also, he stated on the stand today, Tyrese feels $10,000 is excessive, blah, blah, blah. So he pulled the race card on this judge. So he said he does not pull the race card. But now we have 3 occasions where Tyrese Gibson has pulled the race card. Home Depot, the judge, and the racist white radio stations. Now, Tyrese is a smartass. Check this out.
Tender Petitioners Exhibit 57, Mr. Gibson's 2018 tax return.
No objection, Your Honor.
57 in. If I recall your testimony correctly, Mr. Gibson, you said 2018 you were financially in, quote, shambles. Is that correct?
Yeah.
So in 2018, when you were financially in shambles, do you know how much you made that year?
I don't.
All right. This is good.
According to your tax return, you made $2.221 million. It's page 32. Do you want to check my math?
No, sir, I'm asking you because I don't do the CFO thing. Here's a question to you, smart person.
Hey, that's a
He said he made $2.2 million in 2018 when he said he was in financial shambles. And he said, I don't do the CFO thing, smart person.
no. You go sit down. We're taking a break. Lawyers back now. If you do it again, I'm gonna hold you in contempt. You don't ask any questions. That's not how this works.
Man. Yeah, so that's what happened in the courtroom with Tyrese. I mean, $2 million is a lot of money. I don't know if he made a movie that year. If he didn't make any movies, it might have had other streams of income. I know he probably gets paid pretty well for those Fast and Furious movies. But $2 million is actually a pretty good sum of money for 1 year. 1 year, over $2 million. A lot of people don't make that in their lifetime. So, and Tyrese claims he's in financial shambles, which I don't know, it could be true. According to some court documents and other court cases with divorce and child support, things like that, he claimed to have, court documents showed he only had $884,000 in his bank account, and his property was worth $1.7 million. And I'm trying to figure out where has all the money gone you've made over your career. And if you don't remember what happened many years ago, well, maybe 2017 or so, 2018, when he was on Instagram, I believe it was, crying, saying he doesn't have money, he's broke, and this and that, he can't pay his child support or whatever it is. And he was asking Will Smith for money or something like that. So, and there's something else with The Rock. He was upset about The Rock. Dwayne Johnson, there was supposed to be another part to the Fast and the Furious movie, and The Rock decided to do a spin-off before they filmed Fast and the Furious. And so The Rock did the spin-off and basically pushed back this movie the Fast and Furious movie, another year or so. So Tyrese was pissed off and said, "You're keeping money out of my kids' mouths, or out of food out of my kids' mouths, or something like that. I have to feed my family, and I have responsibilities, whatever it is." But look, if you're making $2 million a year, you should be okay. But I think Tyrese mismanages money. He's made a lot of money over his career. I remember he was a big R&B star. I actually liked his music, but I've come to realize I don't know. I don't really like him as much as a person, based on what I've seen. The way he's talking to the cashier, the way he's talking to the lawyer, pulling the race car multiple times. He's just not who I thought he was growing up. I mean, back in middle school and high school when he was a star. But to me, just another entitled celebrity who can't keep his finances together. And he's pulling the race car because he's broke. You know, if you made $50 million over your career, whatever it is, you should have more to your name than $800,000 in cash. That's all I'm saying. But all right, guys, thanks for listening. Like and subscribe, and let me know what you think in the comments. Is Tyrese in the right for this? Is he in the wrong? Is he pulling the race car because he's broke, or he has to fork over $600,000 in child support and lawyer fees? That's a huge sum of money for somebody who has $884,000 in their account. You better get some more movies or get back in the music industry. All right, guys, take care.